Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to OPRC class, online parenting class, day 108. Let us get started our class by paying respect to the Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavatu arahato samma sambuddhassa. Once again, good evening, Dhamma friends. As you know, today we are going to start off a new chapter, the Dhammapada. We have been discussing Pandita Varga up to last, I think, week. So we have completed 6 chapters. The first chapter was about Yamaka Varga. It's about pairs, Akusala side and Kusala side. Second, we discuss about Appamada, diligence, the importance of being diligent in this life and in the samsara. Third chapter was about Chittavagga. It's about thought or thoughts. And we discuss how different thoughts affect us and how to transform our thoughts and many more. And the fourth chapter, in the fourth chapter, we discuss about flowers, actually flowers in the sense of ethical person, ethical individual. Someone sila ethics is always compared to different flowers. And fifth chapter, chapter 5, was about understanding an unwise person and the behavior nature of unwise persons. And the last chapter we discussed, including last Thursday, was about Pandita Varga. That's chapter 6, where we discuss about wise person, how to become a wise person, and the nature of the wise person. And also, we learned that wise people are carrying different characteristics, so we need to know them differently. All right, so we are happily moving on to the next chapter today. It's going to be chapter 7, Arahanta Varga. Arahanta Varga is about enlightened beings. So it's very important to learn about enlightened beings because we have a sort of loose understanding about enlightened beings. What many people know about enlightened beings is someone goes to a Dhamma talk. At the end of the Dhamma talk, or during the Dhamma talk, someone became an enlightened being. So why not? Why not us? Right? This is the very easy observation that many people have. Because when you read the stories, when you read some of the suttas, you think that if the people who could sit down and listen to the Buddha, and by the end of the sutta, if they could enlighten themselves, so why not us? So that is the loose understanding about arahants. So when we learn about arahants through their nature in this chapter, Arahanta Varga, we will understand them in very clear terms. At the same time, their true nature. So from today onwards, let's say as you finish knowing about arahants, you will not make some of the strange claims about being an arahant. And you will understand what is to be an arahant and the nature of being an arahant, Pacceka Buddha, because the nature of arahant is the same nature that is maintained by arahant, Pacceka Buddhas, and Samma Sambuddhas. All right, so let us now move on to the first stanza. of this Arahanta Vagga. Right, and we will be reading the first lesson, 108, December 18, Dhammapada 90. Gatak dino viso kassa vippamuttassa sabbati sabbaganta pahinassa parilahona vijjati. So, once again, if I read this, Gatak dino viso kassa vippamuttassa sabbati sabbaganta pahinassa parilahona vijjati. Okay, so we will be asking groups to read now. Someone from group 1 can read at this point. Yes, Pauline, please. Can you unmute? Yes, please.
Sorry about that.
Okay, great.
Sukyotu Bhante and everyone. Gata dino visokasa vipa mutasa sabadi sabba ganta pahinasa parilaho na vijjati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And group 2? Yeah, group 2, yes, Mayor, please.
Bhante. Gata dino viso kasa vipa mutasa sabadi sabaganta pahinasa parilaho na vijjati.
Can you read the third line again, please?
Sabaganta pahinasa.
Okay, Sabbaganta pahinasa.
Bhante.
Great. And group 3, Lisa, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Gata dino viso kasa vipa mutasa sabadi sabba ganta pahinasa palilaho ner vijati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 4. Someone from group 4. If not group 5. Group 5.
Bhante, Melinda here.
Yes, Melinda, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino visa kasa vipa mutasa sabadi sabba ganta pahinasa parinaho na vijati.
Okay, great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
group 6. Yes, same form, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino viso kasa vipa mutasa sabadi sabba ganta pahinasa parinaho na vijati.
Okay.
Thank you.
And great. Group 7. Yes, Hema, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino viso kasa vipa mutasa sabbati sabba ganda pahinasa parilalo ho na vijati. Sadhu, Bhante.
Parilaho na vijjati. Okay.
Parilaho na vijati.
Okay, great. And group 8, Doris. Yes.
Thank you, Ganti. Gata dino viso kasa vipa mutasa sabbadi sabba ganta pahinasa parilaho na vijjati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And now we would like to invite others. If anybody wants to read, please raise your virtual hand. We will start with Pochu one, please.
Good evening, Bhante. Thank you. Gata dino viso kasa Vipamutassa Sabbadi. Sabba Ganta Pahinassa Parilahona Vichati.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. And then Kim. Kim, yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino viso kasa, vipa mutasa sabadi, sabba ganta pahinasa, pari laho na vijati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Jenny, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Gata dino viso kasa, vipa mutasa sabadi. Sabba ganta pahinasa, pari laho na vijati.
Okay, great. And
Thank you.
CH, please.
Yes, good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Okay. Gata dino viso kasa, vipa mutasa sabadi, sabba ganta pahinasa, parilaho na vijati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
TC, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Gata dino viso kasa, vipa mutasa sabadi, sabba ganta pahinasa, parilaho na vijati.
Okay, great. And Margaret? Yes.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino visu kasa, vipa mutasa sabbadi, sabba ganta pahinasa parilaho na vijati. Thank you, Bhante.
Great. Yes. And anyone else who would like to read? Yes, Suzanne, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Gata dino viso kasa, vipamutasa sabadi, sabaganta pahinasa parilaho na vijati.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yes, anyone else who would like to read today and all of them? All right. If there are no one to read at this point, we will get into the Suzanne, would you like to say anything?
I have a question, Bhante,
Yes,
about the
please.
pronunciation. I noticed in this stanza there is lots of double letters.
Yes, I actually separated them out.
Yeah, I
in my
was
wondering.
trying to pronounce them, and I noticed that it doesn't really sound like you do pronounce them every time. Vipamutasa, you can hear it, but gatadino, you don't really hear the D. Gatadino.
Gatadino, yeah.
Yeah, and I was struggling with the sabaganta pahinasa. Do you pronounce it?
Actually, I removed that P here because many of them will be not able to pronounce that. So I purposely removed that part. This is how it is originally like.
Yeah.
But we can use that way also. Sabbaganta pahinas. Double P. Double P was added for the easy memorization. But here you all learn. So I purposely removed that thing. Otherwise, we can also read this way, Sabbaganta pahinas. But if you go to the original text, you might say Sabbaganta pahinas. But the same meaning, Ganta pahinas. But keep in mind, there are two words. Ganta is one word, pahinasa is another word.
So when there is always two letters, you should always pronounce each one. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
you
you.
have to. You have to.
Thank you,
But that
Bhante.
kind of pronunciation is sometimes not giving an easy understanding about two words. So here in this particular Pali stanza, I removed that additional consonant so that everybody understands that. Okay, so this stanza is explaining to us about a very important profile, maybe characteristics about an arahant. So let us see the Pali words. Gata dino viso kassa vipamutassa sabbati. Sabba gantha pahinassa parilahona vichati. When we look at it from a literal point of view, you can see for one who has completed the journey, is free of sorrow, and has been completely liberated in every way, who has abandoned all ties, no burning affliction can be found. Now, can we look at the Pali word addino here? Addino. Gata is a past participle. Have you ever heard the Pali word addhana? Addhana. A-double-D. H. Long A. Addhana. Addhana means long journey. So addino, if you could say a road, a journey. Gata addino means someone who has finished the journey. What kind of journey does this mean over here? Sansaric journey, right? Is it a one-life journey? Is Sansara journey a one-life journey or many lifetime journey?
Many life.
It's a journey of many lifetime. So don't think that just because you listen to a Dhamma talk, every magic will happen at the end of the Dhamma talk. Right? It's a if you have been existing for many lifetime, then your enlightenment also can take that many lifetime. So we don't have to rush. We don't have to push. Rushing, pushing will make the journey more complicated, right? Just do it. Just do the necessary things. Just meet the conditions. Just understand the conditions. Do the necessary things. That's why even when we want to understand an arahant's what you call success, accomplishment is always discussed with the previous lives, not in one life. So if the arahant's success is always looked at with regard to the previous lives too, then we cannot forget about what we may have done in our past lifetimes. But who knows what we done individually in past lifetime? We never know, and we don't need to know also, right? Right? It's like someone is going to tell you, this is the date that you're going to die. Ever since you got to know this, if this is going to be accurate, you feel very depressed about this thing. I have only 20 years. Think about someone who got a stage 4 cancer. Dates are decided already, right? And that mentality. And also a mentality someone will have when a fortune teller is to say that you will only live for 20, XYZ, this month, this day, this time, right? So that's why sometimes we don't need to know certain things. If we know, now, this is a very interesting thing. Sometimes in our life, if we go after finding the truth about certain things, we will sometimes get into more trouble, more suffering. I mean, we are not looking at it from the noble truths. Yes, we want to find out, explore the noble truths. But what if someone wants to find out each and everything with regard to something, right? Let us think about an example. Think about you are going to buy a new television, smart television in today's world. You are not interested about what you're going to watch through this smart TV, but you are very much interested about how it was made, What are the gadgets inside the TV? I want to explore this, right? Maybe you might be very conscious about the early television aspects in 80s, right? So that's why sometimes it might not be necessary to know everything. If we try to explore everything, then we might run into unnecessary problems, right? But if there is something that is very important, we may have to find out, especially vulnerable truths. So here, what we understand is that arahants, to understand the nature or the success of arahants, we cannot look at their life from this life. Now think about Angulimala, Venerable Angulimala's success. How do many Buddhists want to look at Venerable Angulimala? May I know? How do many Buddhists look at him? Oh, see, 999 people were murdered by him. He got enlightened, so why not me? This is the problem. They forget about the previous part. That's why I'm trying to make a point here. That's a different, that is what is happening here and what happened here. So we cannot ignore, forget about the sansaric life. That is why even when the Buddha wanted to explain about the nature of the success of each enlightened person, Buddha always connects all these arahants' previous lifetimes. So Gata Dino means here, Gata means complete addinomic journey, sansaric journey. Arahant, any arahant has completed his or her journey, sansaric journey, and then has become Visokasa. Can we talk about Soka? What does Soka mean?
Sorrow.
Sorrow. Soka. Then Visoka, sorrowless. Sorrowless.
Sorrow,
May I know at which point of enlightenment can we become sorrowless? Because sorrow is a very big problem in our life, huh? Because all these issues will finally give us sorrow. Think about separation, frustration, what else? Anger, madness, failure. All these things will end, at the end will give us sorrow, soka. So then may I know at which point of our Dhamma journey, you can say enlightenment journey, we can become sorrowless? Is it at the level of Sotapanna or Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahant? Definitely. But can we become sorrowless even before become an enlightened person? Because at each enlightenment stage, we are overcoming certain akusala states. At which point of our enlightenment state?
Anagami.
Anagami, right? Why Anagami?
Never return.
Once written.
Won't return.
No, I'm asking how does it happen actually? Now let us say we are, perhaps some of you may have attained Sotapatti already, we never know. It's because if Vishaka could attain Sotapanna, right, and then led a very good life, we never know to deny Sotapatti of different individuals could be a problem. So let us say someone becomes a Sotapanna person. How does someone become a Sotapanna person? How does that person know I might have become a Sotapanna at this point? There are three things that can be used to measure one's spiritual life and then can think about or maybe can plan to become a Sotapanna. What are those three things?
3 feathers.
South.
Feathers.
The first three, akusala. They are fetters at the end. First three akusalas. What are they?
Wrongful.
Sakkaya
Sakayati.
Sakkaya Ditti is a very natural level of everyone's life, natural part of everybody's life. We all have what you call this view of personality, right? With regard to how I would like to see the world, how I would like to protect my views, right?
Vichikitang. Silabatan.
Yeah, we are slowly going into that part. Now we are still talking Sakkaya Ditthi. I mean, if you want to check that whether you have at least come near the Sotapanti, or maybe whether you might have become a Sotapanna, the first thing you can check your spiritual life by yourself is that how much ego do I carry at this point of my life? How much personality view do I carry at this point? How do I know that? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, when it comes to money, when it comes to possessions, when it comes to a lot of such things, I had a very, you can think about how much, what do you call, self-assertion that I had with regard to those people, those possessions. Now you can check. If you think that you have been able to diminish that kind of view to a higher level, you have been achieving a lot with regard to Sakkaya Ditthi. Second thing to overcome to become a Sotapanna, or perhaps you may have already done, is
Vichikitang.
Vichikiccha, right? Vichikiccha means doubts. That means your life is full of securities, physically, mentally, emotionally, and Dhamma life-wise. I mean, you might not know a lot of Dhamma things. At least by knowing that you don't know, it is a space to learn more Dhamma things. Right? At the same time, if you have a doubt with regard to Buddha Dhamma Sangha, you are not keeping it to you. You want to ask it from a Sangha member, whoever, who can ask, who can answer your question, right? Normally, we don't blindly follow anything. We have respect. We have trust about Buddha Dhamma Sangha. We have to increase the level of the saddha with regard to them, with some wisdom. It doesn't mean that you can find all the answers in your life, but rather you have a trust that is unshaken. The third thing is Silabbata Paramasa. Actually, it is a tie, it is a knot or tie, or maybe bond that we are discussing in this Pali stanza too. Silabbata Paramasa means you can see a very famous Pali word is attached to this Pali word. Sila, Vata, Sila, Vata, Paramasa. That means clinging, Paramasa, clinging to Sila and Vata, rites, rituals, I would say. Clinging to ethics and rituals. Are there people who are clung to the Sila and rituals? I think you know when you go get something done, get some work done, there are people who are very much into the book rules, right? Oh no, I cannot do that, look at the rule, I cannot do it. Yes, they are trying to protect their responsibility, right? They cannot take a, liability with regard to them. Now think about in the Western world, psychologists, even some of the religious organizations, they have to get a liability insurance. Why is it? Let's say a preacher or a religious worker is going to give an advice to someone. And then the person is going to practice it and it is not going to work out. Something bad is going to happen. At that point, those people can sue the teacher, religious worker. So then he or she has to have a liability insurance. So the insurance company will pay for that. Right? So that means, I'm looking at one point only, even when you are going to practice 5 precepts, right? You have to be very careful whether I practice 5 precepts with upadana or clinging. Don't bring upadana to the 5 precepts. Can you think about an example of someone who is practicing 5 precepts with upadana, clinging? Take one precept and think about how does clinging affect one of these precepts. Think about Suramere Majjapama Dattana Veramani, last precept. That means I am going to take a precept where I am not going to take any food or beverage to an extent I lose the presence of mind. Okay. Now, how can someone cling to this precept? Someone wrongly understands that Suramere means no alcohol. So if I only get rid of alcohol, I am good. So the person is only clung not to use alcohol. Not even alcohol that one has to avoid. Any overindulgence, overconsumption of even food and beverages. Right? What about any other precept? Think about Panatipata Veramani, the first precept. Not taking other beings' life. How can someone practice it with clinging? Now think about there is someone who is not practicing. Now I'm talking about someone who is practicing but with clinging. Versus someone who is practicing without clinging. Now when when you are going to practice any precept, there are a lot of blind spots in these precepts. Right? We call them as moral blind spots. Gray zones. Can you think about one gray zone, one blind spot about first precept? Karma will happen at the level of intention, right? It's the intention that will create the karma. But when it comes to the particular activity, we may have to look at different nuances, different situations with regard to first precept or any other precept. Right? Now think about someone only understands not taking life in a certain cultural or in one's own way, might disregard about certain other scenarios, right? So then if anybody is going to disregard, neglect about other scenarios where a potential killing can happen, at that point, what we can say is that particular person is clung to the sila in a certain way. In order to practice the sila, one has to practice it fully, completely. If there is no complete practice of the precept, then it is very easy for someone to end up with silabbata parama. Don't talk about vata, rituals. That is, of course, a problem. Now, when I say about rituals, you might be kind of confused because of the rituals that we are doing in temples, right? We need those rituals. There's no harm about. Now think about Vesak festival, Katina, right? What do you call? In Sri Lanka, they are singing songs on the Vesak day. What do you call? Bhakti Gita, devotional songs for the Buddha. They have songs, right? And even other countries too. What are the other festivals? Vesak float, right? Right? People go, what do you call? They are going around streets, right? So I don't think they are bad. They are good. We need them because not everybody is going to connect to Dhamma in one way, right? Different people are connecting to the temple differently. So it's a modern way to look at it. But what if someone is thinking, why do people celebrate Vesak? Why do we do Katna ceremony? Why do people sing songs for the Buddha? Buddha only told us to practice and learn Dhamma and practice. This can be a kind of a clinging to that. The person couldn't understand those gray zones. The person is only trying to understand Buddhism in a very black and white picture, right? That's why we need rituals, but don't cling to the rituals. Now, there are people who don't want to do it, and there are people who are overdoing these things. sometimes in the temples, there are people who are only going to the temple for Vesak ceremony only, Katna ceremony only. And they are not coming to the temple at any other time, right? I mean, we have to educate them slowly. I mean, we cannot say it's a bad thing. So that way, you can check whether you are on the path to become a Sotapanna by understanding whether you have a clinging towards your Sila and Vata. Sila, Vata. Sila, Vata. So this is Sotapanna. Now we are trying to talk about Visokasa, right? At which point one can become sorrowless. Now we know it should be Anagami, but we will learn it. Now we are going to Sakadagami level. Right? You might be thinking, am I going to simulate all these people? No, I'm trying to tell you how we're going to get there. Sotapatti and then Sakadagami. What are the fetters or akusalas that the Sotapanna will overcome to become a Sakadagami? May I know?
Patika. Patika, hatred. You get rid of the hatred. Patika, is it?
Greed, ill will, and wrong view.
Kamaraga.
Pardon me? Okay. So there are two.
Raga.
Yeah, there are two fetters. Or actually, they are akusalas. I mean, we call them as sanyojana or fetters in the way how they look like, but they are still akusalas. So it is said that a Sotapanna will become a Sakadagami by not getting rid of Kamaraga Patika. Kamaraga Patika are the issues here, fetters. What do you call reducing the strength of Kamaraga Patika, at least in a very substantial level. Someone could say 50-50. Sotapanna still has Kamaraga, right? I mean, Sakadagami also has Kamaraga, but that Kamaraga is very lesser than a Sotapanna. Definitely lesser than an unenlightened person. So that means when a Sotapanna becomes a Sakadagami, the Sakadagami, now somebody might be confused about who is a Sakadagami. Sakadagami is someone who is, when they're going to die, they are only coming back to the samsara only one time. Sotapanna can come back 7 times. Not ideally speaking, generally speaking, Sotapanna can come back 7 times. Sometime, not 7 times, only 2 times, maybe 1 time. It depends, depending on the different people's spiritual abilities. But the Sakadagami is only coming back 1 time to the samsara if the person is going to die as a Sakadagami. So when the Sotapanna becomes a Sakadagami, what will happen in that Sakadagami person is Sakadagami status will arise when Sotapanna is going to manage Kamaraga Patiga at least more than half of the Kamaraga Patiga's level. But still, so Sakadagami has Kamaraga Patiga. What is Kamaraga? Desire to enjoy sensual pleasures. And then Patiga means, Patiga is not anger. Anger is a part of Patiga.
Ill will.
Koda. No. Ill will is Vyapata. Patiga, if you translate Patiga directly, it is called striking. Strike with an object. That we could say Patiga is the larger, broader version of all these anger-based or hatred-based things. I mean, if you look at all those hatred-based emotions, there is a striking that is happening, right? Now think about anger. When you are angry about something or someone, what is happening? You are striking against that person or the thing. So anger has striking, particular. I mean, every dosa-based emotions carry striking. Now think about Vyapada, ill will. Does it have striking too? Yes. Vyapada means someone is wishing someone's failure, someone's negativity. So that person is striking that person with regard to that person's whatever the thing. What are the other anger-based emotions? Akusalas, may I know? Now we discuss anger. We discuss Vyapada, ill will. What are the other anger-based akusala states?
Hatred.
Hatred. Hatred. What is the Pali word for hatred? Dosa. We could say dosa has been used to refer to all the anger-based emotions. But the nature of all the anger-based emotions is striking or patika. That's why Buddha says loba dosa. When you say dosa, anger, everything is included. So if we're going to look at what kind of dosa that we have, yes, I have koda, anger. I have ill will, vyapada. I'm asking those kinds of what you call derivatives, derivative akusala emotions that come from dosa. Another one is
Cruelty.
Aversion.
Yeah, aversion is also used for dosa. Upanaha means revenge. Revenge. When anger is there for a long time, then revenge can happen, right? What does revenge mean? Is there a striking? Yes. The person who has revenge going to strike about, have a striking with regard to somebody's thing that happened to him or her. What are the other similar anger-based emotions that come from dosa which carry patiga?
Bhante, can we say jealousy?
Jealousy, issa. Yes, it is also part of dosa. Is there a patiga? What is the patiga in the jealousy moment? Someone does not does not accept somebody else's success. That person is striking against the success of somebody. That person strikes against the achievement of somebody. Patiga is there too. And what else?
Envy.
Huh?
Envy.
Can you say it again, please?
ENVY.
Envy, same. Jealousy, envy, same. It's the same, two English words. What about aghat? Pali word aghat, resentment. There are people who are very much resentful about things that happen to them. So they are striking against, or they have a striking against what happened. Past stories, things that they went through in their life, very, very uncomfortable when the memory comes to them. You did this to me. I'm so upset about it. Right? This is called aghat. It has a striking. What striking is that the person's frustration is going to struck against the thing that happened. And what else? There are so many things. The thing is that you cannot remember that. If you go to Satcha Vibhanga Sutta, you can see what are they? Upayasa, right? There are so many Pali words with regard to dosa. So now I want to tell you, because our time is very short, I want to tell you, patika means the nature of dosa. Every dosa-driven emotions, such as koda, anger, vyapada, ill will, issa, envy or jealousy, frustration, despair, then agata, resentment, right? All these anger-based or dosa-based emotions carry striking. Let me tell you, even the Sotapanna person also carry some amount of patiga, but definitely better than us. They know their anger. They know their dosa. For unenlightened human beings, what is happening to them? They don't know that they have dosa when the problem is so much arisen. Right? But even the Sakadagami person carries some amount of manageable patika. Sotapanna also carries some level of manageable patika, also manageable kamaraga. Even Sakadagami person, after becoming a Sakadagami, also carries a very less amount of patiga and kamaraga. Okay, now we are going into the next stage. When a Sakadagami person becomes an Anagami person, of course, we know Anagami means you are safe. Huh? You are not enlightened, but you are safe because you are not coming back to the samsara again. But what we know when someone becomes an Anagami person is only at the point of Anagami, the Sakadagami person is going to overcome 100% of kamaraga, 100% of patika. Means complete level of kamaraga, complete level of patika. Now, when we say what is the level where someone is going to, what you call, overcome dosa, soka. Now, I think we couldn't discuss about the soka. Where does soka belong to? Is it a raga? Is it a dosa? Is it a moha? I mean, all these issues come from moha, but then is it coming from lobha or is it coming from dosa? How does your grief, or where does your grief come from? Now think about someone passes away that you might very much like. Now you are very sorrowful. You are very sad about it. According to the Dhamma teachings, that particular sorrow, grief, where does that sorrow come from? Where does that sadness come from? Under lobha dosa. Does it come from lobha or does it come from dosa?
Bhante, can we say dosa?
Dosa, because you don't want to accept that separation.
Yeah.
So you are having a striking against the phenomenon. Patika is there. Because you are having a striking, you don't like, you are striking against. I don't like it. This shouldn't have happened. Right? It is not just an attachment. It is basically happening to the point that has a dosa. So then, when someone becomes an anagami only, that person is going to overcome dosa completely. But keep in mind, still there are certain akusalas that are going forward until the anagami person becomes a fully enlightened person, an arahant. What are they? Do you think the raga was completely abandoned by the anagami person? Kama raga was completely abandoned by anagami. Kama raga. But still, anagami person can have other kinds of desires. Right? Think about it. You have a sugar problem and you are going to say goodbye to the sugar. But then on the other hand, you are liking something more serious, right? Non-sugary products. Still, there is a certain liking going on. The problem is not, metabolism speaking or medicinal wise speaking, sugar can be a problem. But according to Dhamma, still the problem is going. Right? Now I'm saying that even the anagami person got rid of kamaraga, sensual desires completely, but still certain desires are carried forward. What are they? Desire to be reborn in a Brahma world, Rupa Raga, material Brahma world. Arupa Raga, desire to be reborn in a immaterial world, still being carried forward. Right? So then, Rupa Raga, Arupa Raga. And Mana, conceit. Arahants also, not Arahants, Anagami people, they also carry mana. That's why when someone is very much egoistic, don't worry. Even Anagami person also carry this what do you call it? It's not ego, conceit. They can be conceited about themselves in a certain way.
Ill will.
And then
they still have ill will.
they still have
Ill,
yes, Sumita?
Ill will and then wrong view. Dikti also. Three
You mean
things.
anagami?
The higher factors, the three higher factors are not been diminished. Or
Yeah,
fully
not Sakkaya Ditthi. They are free from Sakkaya Ditthi. What they have is, these are very, very minor akusalas. I mean, don't worry about that level. If you happen to become one of them, very minor ones. You are already in the safe zone. You are in good hands about spirituality at that point. So Ruparaga, Aruparaga, Mana, Uddacha, Avijja. Avijja is the main reason of why we are in samsara. Ignorance about Four Noble Truths. Some people take avijja and moha together in the similar way. Is it true? Is it correct to take avijja and moha similarly? Is it same? Are those two Dhamma words same? Are they carrying similar meanings?
different.
No. Avijja is the overarching, all-pervading, or the biggest reason why we are in the samsara. Not being able to fully realize the Four Noble Truth. That is avijja. Then moha. Moha is the offshoot of that avijja in one life. Until you are in the samsara, you are being reborn, right? In every life, you are carrying avijja as moha, delusion. So the delusion is arising from avijja. That's why moha is one life thing, avijja is a samsaric thing. Okay? So, then now our question here is that Visokasa. So, Arahant, when someone became an Arahant, definitely that person must have overcome Soka at the level of Anagami. Or if someone directly became an Arahant, that Arahanthood also has the freedom from Soka. Right? All right. So we are going back to see, we have to discuss a lot about this. Gatadino. Adino means journey, Dhamma journey, spiritual journey. What kind of journey is this?
Samsaric.
Noble Eightfold Path journey. There's no other journey. This is the journey that we have to complete. Now we are still, using it 1 day, 2 day, and then forgetting about it. Then again, on a retreat, we go back, we do it, come back again, we forget about it. We are doing it on and off. I mean, the problem is not yours. The problem is to understand how to make it a practical daily life thing. You don't have to wear white clothes. You don't have to do a lot of things just like on a regular official activity. If you can carry the Noble Eightfold Path factors in your daily life, the way how you can do them, then you are succeeding slowly, gradually. That is fine. So, that is the journey which refers to Adino Gata. Arahants have already finished it. Visokasa, when someone becomes an Arahant, there is no sorrow, sadness, or grief. Vipamuttasya sabbati. Vipamutta means freed, liberated. Sabbati in all forms. That means Arahants have liberated in every form. Now, if we ask this question from our daily life, from the modern people, have you liberated from your certain aspects of your life? No, I'm not financially liberated yet. I have so much to pay back, right? I am not education-wise liberated. I have so much to learn in my life. What about suttas? Oh, so many suttas to learn. I'm not liberated from sutta studies. I have to become a sutta study person until I die, right? Well, so where is the freedom before the Nibbana? Is it to stop learning? Is it stop earning money? Is it to stop attracting to your loved ones? Where is the freedom actually before the Nibbana? That's a very good thing.
Middle path.
Actually, yes, as you
Middle path.
practice the as you practice the Noble Eightfold Path, which is the middle path, whenever you are engaging in your lay life things, money, relationships, uh, whatever other XYZ things, please engage with them without a clinging craving. Then you are free halfway.
Yeah.
You are free halfway. Otherwise, you are not free halfway, but you are still want to target the full freedom. It will never happen to you, right? That's why the Buddha said in many suttas, Digajana Sutta, Sigalovada Sutta, Pattakama Sutta, you have to free from your finances. Only you can do that if you follow Buddhist ways of engaging in finances. But a lot of Buddhists don't understand. They think what the Buddha said was only to attain Nibbana. How to attain Nibbana? How to get to the liberation when you are not liberated in your daily life? Is financial freedom, does financial freedom mean to become a millionaire? I don't think so. Financial freedom arises when you know how to wisely manage your finances. One very good example from Pattakama Sutta is, Digajana Sutta is, don't underspend money, don't overspend money. What a beautiful teaching in today's world. I think it matters to all of us. You may all have apps online, see how much money you spend, how much money you don't spend. Let's say you have an annual medical checkup. You are thinking, no, why should I go for the checkup? I'm still good. But then an important observation is going to be missed out in your medical brackets. Next year when you go, there is something growing in your body. And now we are thinking, no, this is what the Buddha said, karma affects me, karma got me. So Buddha never said so. Buddha said, you have to spend money, don't underspend. When you have to spend money, you have to spend money. If you underspend, then when you are going through the consequences, don't put that thing into the karma garbage bin, karma baggage. People do that. So that's why liberate yourself in your daily life to get to the full freedom one day. Everything. I mean, you know what I try to say here. So that freedom is very important. And arahants, when someone became an arahant, they have completed in all these. This liberation is talking that higher level. Not even that. Sabba ganta pahinas. May I know what is ganta mean? What does ganta mean? Ganta. You know, in Sri Lanka, after I would say the last 1,500 years of Sangha lineage, there was a point that Sangha members turned to two ways of practicing Dhamma, delivering Dhamma. I'm talking about Mahavihara time. What are the two ways? Ganta Dura, Vidassana Dura. That means some monks said, we want to study the Dhamma text. Some monks said, no, we want to practice meditation. Ganta Dura, Vidassana Dura. This is a historical thing. Now, I'm trying to tell you the Pali word Ganta. Ganta means books, text. But here, the Buddha says, Sabba Ganta Pahinasa. Buddha used Ganta here to say ties. Who has abandoned all ties, Pahinas. What are the ties? Ties have been given here. Oh, these are the ties. Avijja, Vyapada, Vilapata Paramasa, Idang Satcha Binimesa. So, if I'm not mistaken, this comes from Digha Nikaya's 33 Sutta. I think this is C. It should be Sangiti Sutta, maybe. Yes, Sangiti Sutta. You have to go check one by one. Please check that. I hope this should be under the fourth category. Chatukka. See. Pradana. Tipada. Yeah, please read this part. It should be somewhere. Because of the timing, we don't have time to take a look exactly. It's somewhere here. Ika is 33 sutta. So Gantha means ties. What kind of Gantha? Kaya Gantha. The Buddha here means Kaya Gantha. We are physically tied to 4 things, right? Let's take a look at those 4 here in short. The phrase Sabbagantha Pahinasa refers to one who has completely given up all ties. These bonds or ties are the forces that bind beings to samsara. What are the abhijja, covetousness, the desire for the possessions of others, grasping fueled by craving. Vyapada, ill will, that has all the anger-based emotions, wishing other people harm. Silabbata paramasa, alienated discipline. I mean, we say clinging to rituals, rites, precepts, observances, right? We discussed that. Finally, dogmatic fixation on means what I believe is the only truth. What other people believe is not the truth. This is a tie to the samsara. The bias that what I hold is absolutely true and all other views are false. These 4 ties shackle beings to recurrent existence, samsara. They perpetuate clinging, conflict, delusion, and rebirth. An arahant, having abandoned all 4, is described as sabbagantha pahina, fully unbound, fully untied. So, an arahant has fully abandoned all ties. Therefore, they don't have parilahu. What is parilahu? Parilahu, some translate this to be fever, or maybe a burning affliction. Parilahuna vichati. Arahants don't carry any burning feeling. Do we carry burning feeling every day, time to time? What kind of burning afflictions do we carry? Frustration is number 1, right? Things don't happen the way we want. Tell me a very harmless parilah every day. You want to go to bed early, okay? But sleep doesn't come to you. Right? That's a very good parila, right? You go to bed by 10:30, 11, but you want to sleep, but you can't sleep. Then you are waking up time to time, right? Why is that happening? I mean, there may be a medical reason, but for some others, it can happen because they are trying to sleep. They don't let the sleep come to them. We have to let the sleep come to us. How to let the sleep come to us? We have to prepare for the sleep and not to push us to sleep, not to rush us to sleep. Right? It's very easy for all of us to be frustrated, especially at a time when we learn Dhamma. When you learn too much Dhamma also, you can be frustrated. Why is it? Buddha told this, XYZ people, we cannot do this. And so much restricted at that point, right? Yes, I mean, Buddha may have told that, definitely. But how to practice it? We have to practice it without pushing us, without especially pushing others too much, right? So that is one frustration is a parilaha. What are the other parilahas? Things don't happen the way we want, that is frustration. And what else? Perfectionism. This is also very important. You want to be a perfect person. How do people try to be perfect people? May I know from your own versions? I think you may know better than. Right? How do people try to be perfect in their life? Let's discuss one point. Looks like you have never wanted to become a perfect person, right? You never know what it means actually. Well, how do people try to become perfect?
It gives a lot of dissatisfaction, Bhante. Miserable.
Yeah, that's a consequence. I'm asking, how do people try to become perfect? What are the ways that they try to become perfect?
So meticulous, high standards.
Very meticulous about. Very
Yeah.
meticulous about each and everything. Such as,
Yeah.
tell me one example, such as
So perfect.
about.
Oh, I think in the office work, I can see some are so meticulous until things cannot move.
Yes.
Very detailed.
Yeah, it just cannot move because it's not perfect yet.
Yeah, things cannot move. Yes, when you are too perfect, things also don't move.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, one example. And then what else?
Timekeeping.
Huh?
Timekeeping.
Timekeeping. Oh, when we are going to be controlled by the time. Time is a good way to organize, but we should not let time organize us. We are using the time to become organized, just to be on the, in the same page. Yeah. I remember this is a very funny story somebody told in a certain country. There was a cardiologist who only listens to the patient for 3 minutes. When you say anything to the doctor, he only listened to 3 minutes only. So there was a man who was very chit-chatting. He went to see the doctor and he's trying to say the story. Yeah? It went more than 3 minutes. Said, okay, I know your problem. Right? Because he only sees the patient for 3 minutes. Right? So that means some patients need some time to explain, right? So that means time has control people to look for the perfectionism. Okay, so what are the other ways? Constantly find faults in others. Why this person has grown in a certain way with regard to certain things, right? Actually, when we do anything, we don't have to find fault about anybody. We just have to do in our way, but we have to listen to others too. You don't have to worry about, what's happening from other people too. Okay, so there are many ways we can see that perfectionism has impacted many people, right? So that's why we need to be free from perfectionism. It doesn't mean that we have to make mistakes. We might make mistakes, but understanding that there can be an honest mistake can happen. Also, there are people who even know that they are making mistakes. They might continue to do so, but how to attend to that kind of a matter? Do we have to attend to the matter with a lot of frustration, a lot of blaming? Or sometimes there are people who are happily making mistakes, and you are going to be so much bothered by the perfectionism, frustration, and all that. Right? So, what we need to see is that parilahu, this perfectionism can bring us a lot of parilah, right? Perfectionism and not being able to manage daily events, and there are a lot of other ways. So, when someone has completed the journey, spiritual journey, and become sorrowless, and have been able to overcome what you call all the ties, and completed in all these ways, that person will have no burning affliction, fever, with regard to his or her life. So this is the meaning of the stanza. The story comes from Jivaka Panyavatu. Jivaka, may I know who is Jivaka?
Doctor's physician.
The Buddha's physician. Actually, Jivaka was the physician for some of the royalties, and he took care of the Buddha at times. What happened was that, Buddha went through some challenges from his own monks. There were many occasions he had to go through some challenges. One very big challenge he went through from the fellow monks was what happened in the temple called Goshitara in the Kosang. This is a very documented story in the Vinaya Pitaka. What happened was that by that time, even monks Sangha members, they got into two groups. One group was talking about more Dhamma, while the other group was talking about more Vinaya part. So Dhamma Vinaya was the problem at that time, actually. Okay? So what happened was that some of the monks, like I think maybe the Dhamma monks who are highlighting about the Dhamma, when they went to the washroom, they had a thought that when you go to the washroom, you don't have to keep the bucket full of water when you come back. And the Vinaya monks said, no, if you go to the washroom first, when you come back, you do your things, call up nature things, and you have to fill the bucket with water and come back for the next person. Right? So Dhamma monks told it is not necessary for us to do. Whoever goes to the washroom will make water and then do those activities. So what happened? It became a very, very big argument at a certain point. So we understand these monks could be unenlightened, definitely. And the Buddha advised those monks, don't do this. This is a very trivial thing. Buddha's suggestion was, we don't have to make a rule. If anybody wants to fill the bucket with water, let them do so. If anybody doesn't want to do it, let them come that way, right? You know, it's a thing that he let Sangha members to decide. If you make a rule, then it can be a big problem, right? Sometimes we should not impose a rule, right? When you impose rules, it can create some other issues too. What happened? The two groups couldn't reconcile each other. They were arguing each other every day, you know, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, and all that. So Buddha had to leave the temple as well. He left the Goshataram. He went to the forest. You know the story, when he went to the forest called Parileya, there was an elephant and a monkey who took care of the Buddha.
Yes.
That's a very, very, very compassionate story, actually. It is said that elephant is bringing dana to him, and the monkey is bringing some fruits to him. And you know what happened when the Buddha left the forest? They all died. They became deva. The elephant didn't like Buddha is leaving the forest. A monkey also died. And he said that they became devas. It's a very pathetic story. But anyways, maybe somebody can make a documentary one day with this story. And here there was a commotion between two Sangha groups. And then finally, Buddha was taken care by animals, right? Elephant and the monkey, right? So that's a very beautiful story. So this is one very interesting story about, you know, how Buddha went through issues. And then second, from Venerable Devadatta. That was a very challenging situation Buddha had with him. But Buddha never asked him to leave the temple. Right? Venerable Devadatta was in the same temple. That's why he could ask Ajasatta, the son of King Bimbisara, to do certain bad things. First, he approached King Ajasatta. He wanted to get his ulterior motives done through him. So he said, first, you have to kill your father. And this young fellow believed him. And then he did that. And what happened after that, when he did it, he said, can you help me to kill the Buddha? And he even sent some royal forces to kill the Buddha. Finally, when things didn't work, what happened? He went to a certain hilly area. He threw a stone at the Buddha. And the stone was stuck with another stone. A splinter came out, and then that injured the Buddha. At that point, there were some other monks who were going with him. Those monks carried the Buddha to the place called Madhakuchi. And then this was alerted to the Buddha's physician, Jivaka, in this story. And Jivaka rushed to the place, and then they tried to hide the Buddha from, further attacks by Venerable Devadatta and his groups. And what happened was that Jivaka did a sort of plastering, bandaging around the place of the toe of the Buddha. And then he said to the Buddha, Bhante, I have to go because there is a patient outside the kingdom area. I have to go, and I will come back to remove the plastering or bandage. I said, okay. But what happened when he finished the new patient thing? It was very late, and then he couldn't come back to the kingdom. The gates were closed. So he was very unhappy. He was not happy. I couldn't do the what you call undressing of the Buddha's bandage. By the morning, what happened? Buddha had already instructed some other monks. Jivaka wish he would do this, so you could do this for me. And then they undressed the bandage. When he came back in the morning, he was very he was sadly telling the Buddha, I think you must have gone through some physical pain. The Buddha said, no. That is the moment Buddha said this story. When someone became an arahant and so on and so forth, that person will not carry any, what do you call, gantha, or any other physical, material kind of pain, right? This is the story. So overall, the story highlights many aspects of life. I think we can look at it from the notes here. Let's take a look at the notes before we go to the Q&A. Bound by ties, that's about us. Freed by wisdom, right? Okay. Can we learn a couple of things depending on the time about the story first? The first 4 notes. Compassionate service does not always mean immediate present. You know, sometimes in our life too, think about Jivaka's attitude. Sometimes we don't organize us earlier. So we may have not been able to attend to the urgent matters of our loved ones. Has that happened to you in your life? Think about taking care of your parents. Like you might be saying, I don't have a lot of money to take care of my parents. I don't have a lot of time for them at this time of my life. But the problem is when you are too ready for this activity, paying, repaying, taking care of them, helping them, they might have gone already. Even though you want to do, but you can't do anything for them. This is one example. Not even that. Whatever you do for dana, dhamma, learning, right, giving kindness, compassion to other people, you should kind of organize those activities. Otherwise, you want to do, but you cannot do. Right? I think Jivaka's story is very, on one side, very acceptable, but at the same time, we wonder what if he could have organized his time so he could have come back in time to do it. But it didn't hurt the Buddha. You know, this is something we learn in our life. Don't be late for certain important matters to do in your life. Try to organize your kindness. So organize your kindness. Organize your other good things, your karuna, metta, mudita, upekka. Don't wait until there is a moment that you can. Sometimes you have to organize early. Sometimes for urgent matters. So when it comes to the beneficiaries also don't need to be frustrated. In case your beloved ones couldn't do it in time, don't be frustrated. Don't be resentful. Maybe they had an honest reason for not doing it. So it's a two-way thing to understand from the story. Skillful care must be guided by wisdom, not fear. Right? Now here we understand that Jivaka was feared about, why I couldn't do it. But later on, Buddha guided him, you don't have to worry, everything is okay here, right? So whenever we do a good thing, let us do with wisdom, not with fear. Say, for instance, someone is doing dana. Why are you doing dana this much? Because if I don't do, I will go to that bad place, I will become like this and that. So they are, in a way, doing all those good things with a lot of fear. If I don't do dana, I will become this and that. Right? Don't do any good karma with fear. Do it with positivity. Do it with some happiness of what is happening to you and to other people. So Jivaka was a bit taken aback because of not being able to come back at the same night. Third one is the awakened mind is not defined by circumstances. Though physically injured, the Buddha declares that suffering is extinguished. This does not deny pain, but reveals a profound truth. Pain and suffering are not identical. In contemporary terms, mental resilience, emotional regulation, and freedom from inner reactivity are possible even when external conditions are imperfect. When we are going through a very bad time, but if we still can manage our inside, inner parts, we can still benefit from what we know, what we have practiced, right? We are talking it from Jivaka's perspective. Reassurance is a form of compassion. Do you reassure your support sometime with regard to the people? Do you reassure when it comes to compassion?
Yes.
I'm happy that you arrived there, right? I want to come and to send you off. Right? Tell me when you reach. Are you reassured? That reassurance is a kind of compassion, right? And I think we make a lot of things like that, right, in our life. Even a text message, social media message, even a phone call, right? Let's say you make sure somebody has had dinner, lunch, doing well, right? If the person has been going through medical checkups, medical situation, you are concerned about their well-being, that's reassurance. Other people will feel it when you ask the question, right? They really care for us, right? So that is also a compassion. I think it's a very high, elevated kind of compassion. Not that you support and then you go away. You don't even wonder what's happening to those people, right? Jivaka came back and very wondering, Bhante, are you okay? Were you able to remove this dressing? Yeah, I'm okay. I mean, this thing is something that we can relate to our life, to reassure, make sure things are okay. Abhijja. Abhijja means covetousness. I think we discussed this in our many other sutta discussion. Abhijja, okay? Abhijja and what's the other term? Visama lobha. Okay. Abhijja means wishing, other people possessions for oneself. That is abhijja. Visama lobha means actually abhijja generally means that you are having what you call covetousness with regard to what you own. That's the correct way to say that. Visama lobha means you are wishing other people possessions. So we learned this in a sutta in Majjhima Nikaya. Abhijja, not avijja, abhijja and visama. Abhijja means covetousness with regard to what you have, and visamalobha means covetousness with regard to what other people have. So when someone attains nibbana, that person really get rid of abhijja. Vyapada we discussed already. Silabhata paramasa was also discussed, and satchabhinaya, the addiction to being right. How challenging is this part? Do you have an addiction to become right? It depends, right? I'm right, you are wrong. This is a very simple observation, right? Would you like to accept the moments that you made a mistake, that, yeah, I think I made a mistake. So I have to know what went wrong or whatever, right? So that kind of an approach is going to help you to remove this type, satchabhinimesa. All right. So overall, what we learned today is that through the Jivaka story with regard to the support that he gave, he couldn't do earlier after that, but he managed to come back reassured. We learn about what the Buddha told him, that with regard to how arahants don't carry soka, sadness, and how are they positively looking at things, and how they have removed the ties, how they have liberated in all walks of aspects. So these are the very important things we learn about the story and the stanza. Now let us take time for a Q&A. I think we already got some questions here. Please explain further on your statement that avijja is a sansaric thing and moha is a life thing. Yes, that is correct. That is what I said. I said moha is the present life version. I think I could say this. Moha is the present life version of avijja, or you could say ignorance, right? It's like this. We don't believe that I exist, but if you take it this way, I am the present version of my sansaric consciousness, right? I am existing, I am going to the next life, it changes. But who is going to the next life? This present version of life is going to the next life. So avijja is the real ignorance is avijja. Moha is the this life, present life version of avijja. Okay, and what are the other questions? Yes, that's all. Any other questions about today's Dhamma teachings? Yes, please raise your virtual hand. If you have a question. Right, looks like you have no question. Okay, Lisa, please.
Hello, Bhante. I just have a question. On the notes, it says human beings are said to travel two broad kinds of journeys. One is the wilderness road, Kantara. What is Kantara? Can you explain a bit properly?
This is given in the commentary, this part. Kantara means desert. Desert. Now, when someone is going to walk in the desert, that person has to find a spot to end up, right? Otherwise, you will die in the Kantara, right? That's why Arahants, they take their, someone who wants to become enlightened, think that this life is like a Kantara. So we have to end up somewhere. But those people who are in the Sansara, they never want to end up. They just keep going, traversing. So Kantara is the approach of the to be enlightened people, right? Or maybe future enlightened people. They want to end up, because in the Kantara you cannot just keep going. No water, nothing. Some more hazards can come. Some other bad animals, snakes. So that is the approach. Really good enlightened. Those future enlightened beings are trying to follow Kantara way of going in the journey. But other beings, they are going as Sansara way. They are always passengers in the Sansara. They have a bus ready for them all the time. They have a passenger bus already always ready for them, because they are going. They never stop, right? They also don't know where they are heading to sometimes. But Kantara, you cannot do that. You have to find out where is this going to. I have to know it. Otherwise, I might be stuck in the Kantara desert. If you have been to a desert, you know how terrible is that, right? Yeah, that's the difference. Kantara versus Sansara.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
All right, looks like there are no questions. I think the the note has more information. Okay, one more question, we will take that. What is the remedy for frustration? Is it our views and expectation? I think the Buddhist way for frustration is being able, Buddhist solution for frustration is being able to understand life, our life, other people life more and right? Things are very impermanent. If things are impermanent, why I want to take something very permanent and then try to blame other people, right? So more towards understanding this life, my life, other people life, so that our views can be very much acceptable. They are fluid all the time. What is happening to many people views? They are always thinking my views are not changing. They are very permanent. This is my view. You have to follow this. You have to accept this. So I think if we are having that mentality, our views and expectations will be manageable, realistic, at the same time, more towards accepting life that will help us to become very much less frustrated. If frustration has a scale. Okay, so with that, we are going to now move on to the transference of good karma. So let us reflect upon all the good karmas we have been doing today. May all the good karmas we've been doing today by learning about the first stanza of the Arahanta Vagga. We learned a lot about Arahants initially from this stanza. Sadness, frustration, expectation, perfectionism, a lot of things that we have to. I think we have to do a lot of things. I mean, if we, these are not new things to us. We are juggling with them every day. So what if that we clarify our life a bit more through these teachings? I think we have a lot of happiness on the way. So may all these good karmas be transferred to all departed ones who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang mi nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang mi nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idang mi nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo. Medeva naga mahimika. Receive all the good karmas which we've been making today. May Devanaga Mahidika happily share all these good karmas and bless and protect all of us for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness. Not even all of us, our friends, relatives, even your grandkids, everybody, may they all be protected by Devanaga Mahidika. And may Devanaga Mahidika also finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbasang pattisiddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbasang pattisiddhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang pattisiddhya. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu desanang. Akasattha cha bhummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu mang parang chirang rakkhantu tvam sadati. At the same time, let us make our Dhamma wish as we do all the time. May all the good karmas which we've been making help us to be surrounded with more Kalyana Mitras. May we also become Kalyana Mitras to as many sentient beings as we meet in samsaric life. Imina punya kamnena mami bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yavanibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas which we will be making today through OPRC class, especially through Dhammapada verses today, be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana siddhis nichang baddha pracha ino Chattaru Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Me Vache Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Samichatu Sadhu Sadhu Sadhu. With all the blessings which we just made today, wishing you a pleasant good night till we see again next Thursday.
Thank you, Bhante.
Have a good
Thank
evening,
you,
everyone.
Bhante.
Good night. Thank you, Bhante.
Sadhu,
Thank you,
Bhante.
Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Everybody.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you, Sadhu.
Bhante, next
Thank
Thank you,
Thursday,
you,
Bhante.
Bhante.
are we
Sadhu,
having
Bhante.
session
Are we?
next Thursday?
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Sadhu, sadhu,
Yeah, I have.
sadhu.
And New Year's
Yeah,
Eve
that is
also
going to be, I think, Christmas. So we have to cancel the class. That's going to be Christmas. So I will let you know through a message again. Yeah.
Sadhu,
Then
Bhante.
Thank
Thank you.
Thursday is New Year's, Bhante.
following Thursday is
Bhante.
also
Good
New
night.
Year's.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Sadhu,
everybody.
sadhu, sadhu. Good night.
Good night,
And take care,
Bhante. Good night,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Good night. Thank
Sadhu,
Take
you.
care.
Bhante. Good night.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Bhante.
Bye.